What and put what?
Okay, so take prime reach off. Put on because I'm assuming because it's a heavy blade that's pretty long anyway. And Tempo Royale kind of negates the need for reach because it's like massive sweeps on every attack.
Okay.
So you put like Berserk in that slot where Prime Reach is, and then
Can't
put
because that's a dash. That's a dash polarity.
Is it dash? I thought it was the Y.
Put what? Wait. You said put. Oh, sorry. I misunderstood.
Yeah, put Berserk there because it's the same thing.
Okay.
And then put Jagged Edge where Berserk was, and then change it over to radiation damage with your north instead of North Wind and Fever Strike. And then yeah, that weapon will be literally perfect because the way that Tempo Royale works, because of its like massive sweeps, you don't need the range because the range would be nice, but you don't particularly need it because you're getting
Okay, so
a huge
for the
arc of
elemental,
attack.
what am I switching?
Put on the electrical one and the fire one of the same type of the silver mods.
So electric and fire.
Yeah, to make it radiation.
So molten impact and
Shocking touch, I think.
Making toast.
yep, shocking touch.
Yeah, Shocking touch. So yeah, Shocking touch and molten impact, and then jagged edge on there, and then yeah, that weapon will be fucking crazy because so like I say, tempo it from reach, but you don't need it because the size of the weapon is already big, and basically the idea is that because you've got Fury on there already, you'll get status procs very quickly, and then that'll double up the like the radiation damage bonus plus giving you the overshield bonus of hitting things that have a radiation proc on them. So it makes the weapon way more survivable, do a bunch of damage, and have like it's really good crowd control.
So in other words, what I just sent.
Yes, exactly. That is the optimum version of that weapon, aside from leveling up the Umbra mods higher.
I know. I'm focused. I'm working on that. I need more. I need to go. I need to get more Indo. I need to go Indo farming.
Yeah. To be fair, I just recently bumped up mine to both of mine to rank 8 because you kind of need to if you're even gonna bother using them, because the sad thing about it is that sacrificial steel is way better than true steel.
Yeah,
and
I know.
it's totally worth using, and it only gets better when you have fucking sacrificial pressure. But sacrificial pressure is even with the bonus of having steel on there is not as good as prime pressure. It only becomes better when you're fighting sentience and when you want to have more crit because of sacrificial steel. So like even at the same level, it is not as good as prime pressure crit. So it's it really needs to be leveled up to be even considered worth using.
Alright.
Well, I just polarized it again.
Yeah.
So this takes it to 36.
The other thing too is about those mods is there's not a ton of melee weapons in the game that really benefit from having both of them. Because weirdly enough, there's not a ton of melee weapons that are really crit heavy. Like most melee weapons are status heavy. The most notable exception is war. War is very heavy in crit.
Ballistics and archaic weapons, crude and dangerous.
It's also
trying to do that.
It's also much harder to get crit on those weapons, because you know, for the longest time the only crit thing they had was fucking true steel, which doesn't give you enough crit to justify using crit on a lot of even the more decent crit.
That and of course they nerfed the shit out of Blood Rush and the other one.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing with it ends up being that like most fucking melee weapons went from being crit weapons to being raw damage, and so you with the only notable exceptions being any melee weapon that has at least 25% crit base, like war does, to even justify, like, because at that point then you can justify putting on true steel or sacrificial steel because it puts it at or above 25 or that at or above 50% chance to crit. Whereas with other mods that exist in the game, you can get to like fucking, you know, over 100% chance to crit on some fucking rifles and stuff.
That's like with the that's like with the Tigris Prime. It went from being a monster in the fucking game to being because they nerfed it.
Yeah. Now there's basically not a crit shotgun that's worth having.
Nope.
Which sucks because shotgun has a bunch of really good crit mods. And especially because the shot, it's kind of needed though for balance because shotgun also has the best multi-shot mods. And if you have the best crit and multi-shot mods, then there's basically no point in ever using rifles.
Yeah.
And that's logic that I can see on it. Like that's definitely a balancing thing, more so than a just nerfing thing. Because the Tigris is still good. Because the Tigris has like crazy high base damage, but in giving it like insanely good crit plus how high the movement strike you can get on a shotgun is, you know, there shouldn't be anything in the game that can deal with that, and it makes all rifles obsolete, except for sniper rifles, because they can do the same thing because of their scoped mods. I don't know. It's weird. Also, I'll be right back. I'm gonna set myself in Tenno mode over here.
If we actually stay until 25, I think I'll level it out completely.
Alright. I have no problem staying until level 25. I gotta get my rhino done and leveled out.
Oh, you polarized him?
Yeah, I repolarized him. I got one, I've got the rust mod on him, so that way my rhino's faster. Paragon Crystal. Don't need that. I'm glad you found that funny. Yeah,
no, because I need that.
Yeah, so...
How'd that go?
Surprisingly well.
You normally have bad luck with it, that's why I asked.
Yeah. Again, surprisingly well. In the 2 runs that we did, we got... In the 3 runs that we did, we got all 4 on-guard perfect that we needed. The build, the Banshee Prime chassis, and the Phantasma station.
Oh, it's still good.
Yeah. It's like the Taunter. It's not as crazy, but it's still good.
Yeah, and I still need a weapon slot to put it in, so...
What pisses me off is the fact that the Phantasma was a fucking beast when it first came out. I mean, I was going through, when I would be soloing, I would at least get like through 60 waves solo by myself, you know, just soloing defense, 60 waves, no problem. Not even worrying about taking any real damage because when you use the second fire rate, it's basically decimating everything. But now it's like, it's not as powerful, so I'm like, yeah.
Basically, you're playing Junkrat with it. Set yourself up somewhere and lob grenades over the wall.
Pretty much.
I'm actually, you know what? Never mind. I don't think I need any more weapon slots. I can just get rid of the Penta.
I'm gonna let you guys know now, when you actually finish building the Paracesis, you're gonna need an affinity booster because, yeah, doing this shit the normal way is gonna take you forever.
Again, yeah. Good to know.
They basically leaked the game list for the N64 classic.
Well, what is it?
It was like both Zeldas that were on the N64, F-Zero, the F-Zero N64, Mario 64, Yoshi's Story.
Tell me Star Fox. If you say Star Fox, I think I might get it.
Yes, Star Fox is definitely on there.
Okay.
That just sealed that one.
Did you get a Super Nintendo Mini?
No, not yet.
Did you know that there's a Star Fox game on there that doesn't exist anywhere else?
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Star Fox 2 is on there. A game that they stopped development on because the N64 came out.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, we had me at for the N64 Classic when you said F-Zero N64, so...
I know, right? Dude, I don't think that Nintendo understands how much people want to fucking new F-Zero game. Or for them to at least release an old F-Zero game on Virtual Console.
What pisses me off about Nintendo is the fact that they bought the rights to Bayonetta. You've been a family-friendly game for so many fucking years, and you want to be a fucking cock-gobbling thunder cunt and buy the rights to an awesome fucking game from PlayStation. For what? Not a lot of people... See, that's the thing. People are not going to buy your console just for one fucking game.
I mean, some guys will. Some people bought a Wii U to play Bayo 2.
No, I'm a fan, but no. I'm a fan, but it's not going to happen. I'm not going to throw away $300 of my fucking hard-earned money just to get a fucking console to play a game that I enjoyed when it was actually out on my console. Fuck that.
To be fair, fucking there's a bunch of good shit on the Switch. So like even if you're getting one just for Bayo, then yeah, that's a waste because there's a bunch of good ass games. Like fucking Kirby Star Allies is super good. Mario Odyssey is fucking really good. Splatoon 2 is really good. Mario X Rabbids is really good.
I'm honestly thinking about getting a classic.
Breath of the Wild.
I'm actually considering getting a PlayStation Mini. Because I actually had the very first PlayStation, but of course I had the Japanese one. So I had all of the Dragon Ball Z games for it, everything. Not the American shit either. The actual good Dragon Ball Z games.
See, I'm kind of the only thing that I would really like to play on a like original PlayStation console is already coming out this month and being remastered.
What?
That's Spyro.
You didn't like Tekken?
I like Tekken. I'm just like I like Tekken, but if I'm gonna play Tekken, I'll just go find Tekken 7.
I'm talking about
That's
classic
kind of like,
Tekken.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like it's the same concept as like I like Street Fighter. I'm not good at Street Fighter, but I like them. But if I wanted to play Street Fighter, I'd go get 5 or 4. I don't need to play like as much as fucking Alpha 2 is and stuff and shit like that. You know, I'm like, I don't have any nostalgia to play that game.
I understand that.
But I suppose part of that is I'm not good at Street Fighter and I'm not good at Tekken, so I'm only good at 2 fighting games, and one of those is Soul Calibur.
I'm good at Street Fighter, I'm good at Tekken, I enjoy them both. I even enjoy Soul Calibur. It's just the fact that if I'm going to play a sword fighting game, I'd rather play Samurai Showdown.
Well,
That's my shit. That's my shit.
I think they actually are making it's not a Samurai Showdown game, but it's very similar.
They remastered Samurai Showdown.
Oh, is it a remaster? I knew there was somebody was talking something about it.
It's Samurai Showdown remastered, and I've always loved that game.
Trying to think of something. There was something else. Oh, hey, a Master Chief. I was trying to think of there's another fighting game because I'm also pretty good at fucking that Steam fighting game, the one that's made by the people who got the cease and desist from Hasbro. Them's Fighting Herds.
Never played it.
That game is really good, actually. It's like all the characters are like talking animals, like some magical in some ways, etc. And it was originally going to be a My Little Pony fighting game, and then Hasbro ceased and desisted them, and so they took the idea for the project, and a bunch of people who worked on the MLP show like drew character designs for them and stuff, like Lauren Faust did, and some other people offered to do voice work. They ended up not taking the voice work because they couldn't justify it. It would have been like straight ripping the voices from the show. So they got their own, and the guy who made Skullgirls, or one of the guys who made Skullgirls, gave them the Skullgirls engine to use in the game. So it's this kind of weird Street Fighter-esque barnyard brawler, and it's got a lot of pretty interesting characters. They've only got 6 right now, but like all of them are vastly different from one another. So the six characters are there's a cowboy cow who her thing is that she's really good. She's really good short range and has a lot of hard hitting and nearly unblockable moves. But she's also got so the best way to deal with her is to play keep away. So to counteract keep away, she has mid-range grapples. She has not only does she have mid-range grapples, but she has an air grapple.
Like Zangief?
Yep. And the air grapple is also mid-range, so she literally lassos people and pulls them in and can start it stuns them briefly, so she can start fighting. Oh, and also because it's on the Skullgirls engine, it incentivizes you to do different combos, because if you use the same combo over and over again, it becomes less effective when you do it.
That's the main reason why I like the Skullgirls engine, because basically with them, the more you choose a move, the less effective it becomes.
You learn your fighter.
Exactly. Stop being a fucking cheese fighter.
Just stop playing Mortal Kombat.
Nothing worse than a cheese fighter, dude.
So that's Arizona, and then they have Velvet, and Velvet's thing is she's a reindeer, and she has ice magic. So she's a fucking like at the end of all of her combos, you can summon an icicle that floats in the air and then fires at your opponent.
Wait. Is there a rabbit in it as well, and he's got like Ryu's moves?
No, there's not a rabbit.
Okay, then that's a completely different game that I'm thinking.
So yeah, Velvet's got ice shards that are on the delay, and will fire at your opponent when you do stuff or after a certain amount of time. And she's pretty good mid range. She's not great up close, but she's got a lot of keep away, and the ice shards do chip damage if they're blocked. So she's pretty good. I find her a pain in the ass to play. Then there's Palm. The Palm is a sheep who herds dogs. And her specials summon dogs so that she can use as zone control. And she has a lot of really light damage, near infinite combos that she can control really well, especially in the air, to like knock you into the dogs, so that the dogs will like knock you back into her, so she can start the combos again. So she's pretty good. There's Paprika. Paprika's an alpaca. And she's kind of like a hyper fighter. And the reason for that is that she's based on Pikachu from MLP, who is literally a hyperactive nutbuck. And so she's got a lot of like dashes and stuff. Like she's got a lot of dashes, and she's got some weird arcing throws that can do weird things and like weird stuff on the ground. She bounces. And she has some weird short range grapples as well. She's kind of odd. She's a real oddball. And then there's Tianhuo, which is a dragon. Tianhuo's thing is that she's an air juggler. And she's a really high damage air juggler. And
aren't most air jugglers are?
Pretty much. And she has a lot of most of her air combos end in a spike. And then the character I play is Oleander, who is a unicorn, and her whole thing is that she has an evil magic book that teaches her shadow magic, and so most of her combos are like. So she plays a weird game of keep away because she has the ability to lay down fireballs as traps. She can end every single combo with a fireball, and if you hold down her magic button, because the game has 4 buttons. It's light, heavy, I'm sorry, it's light, medium, heavy, and magic. And her magic is that if it's how you drop her fireballs. It's how you leave behind the like floating area denial fireballs, but it's also she can use them to teleport in proximity to the other character. So like if you double tap down and hit one of the normal attack buttons, she will teleport relative to the other character, whether it be in front of them, behind them, or underneath them, or away from them. But that consumes magic. The only way for her to regenerate magic, because it's in magic is a separate bar compared to super also.
Reinforcements available. Do you choose to?
The only way for her to regenerate magic is that you have to hold down her magic button, and she sits on the ground and reads the book, which makes her a target. So you use the area denying fireballs and stuff to keep people away from you, and you knock them back with fireballs and stuff like away, so you can take moments to gain magic with the book. Because the other big thing is that when you're at full magic and you use the book, the longer you read it, you generate super.
So like Dragon Ball Z charge up.
Yeah, pretty much. And her supers are fucking stupid. They used to be way stronger than they are now because they nerfed them, and for a good goddamn reason. So her level 1 super is she shoots a death ray across the screen, which can then be immediately cast into her second super, which is she spawns the evil demon that's inside the book. And how he used to work before they changed it was that every time you did a combo, he would do a similar combo from behind the other person.
So they're entrapped.
Yes. You would literally be hitting them from both angles. And they changed it now that he just adds to your combos, which is still good. It's just not as good as it was. And it's pretty fucking. She's pretty good. I like her a lot. You can also you do read her book in the air to have the glide. So you can like set up a wall of fireballs to protect you, and then fucking jump away from them and start reading and glide backwards to get more distance. I like that character a lot. I know a lot of tricks. I'm trying to think. There was something else too. Because it was a Kickstarter game, a lot of people got to like pitch ideas for costumes and stuff. So like, there's a bunch of really crazy costumes for a lot of the characters. Like the sheep, the dog herding sheep has a costume that is her and Johnny Bravo. And the dogs she summons are called.
Just when I think Justin, I think I've heard enough about that show for the next 20 years. There you go.
What, Johnny Bravo?
Yep.
There's also one. Yep.
I find it funny that they actually wanted to make a live-action movie of it. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was going to play Johnny Bravo.
Oh my god, I would have actually watched that.
I would have actually went to the theater to see that.
Yeah.
I quite honestly would have joined you on that, but to be quite honest with you, I think Johnny Bravo was probably the most annoying thing I've ever seen.
Yep.
Like, it's kind of the point.
Exactly.
That's kind of why I want them to bring him back. Because and everybody I say that to is all like, they would never do it. Cartoon Network wouldn't. Like, Johnny Bravo is the most like tone deaf.
They wouldn't do it the right way. If they brought him back, they wouldn't do it the right way.
Yeah, exactly. They bring him back like that terrible Thundercats movie.
Oh god, Thundercats War. Fuck you.
But no, if they got all the original writers and stuff back and brought him back like legitimately as he was when he did his inception, just in a modern climate, it would be hilarious. He'd be like the funniest fucking cartoon ever because it would literally be like the world's biggest wannabe womanizer in a climate where fucking you get your ass stopped for that.
Trump?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It would be fucking hysterical. But people would complain about it. They'd be like, "Look at this misogynist shit," and it's like, yeah, but the point, did you watch the show? Because the point is that he does shit like that and then gets his ass beat, and then later in the same episode shows you that he's the nicest dude ever.
Yeah, just has no social, he can't pick up on social cues. That's all.
Yeah.
That's his only true downfall. That he can't pick up on social cues. He's not that bright.
And he loves women too much. And it's not even like he loves them because he's a pervert. He just really likes them and wants to have a nice relationship. But he's also kind of a narcissist. It's like, it could be so good.
If you actually pay attention to any cartoon, like for instance, Bob's Burgers. Bob's wife is the biggest fucking narcissist. Because if it doesn't involve her, she doesn't want anything to do with it.
Or she tries to inject herself.
Yeah, I quite honestly, and just like Ed admitted, I think Eddie's the narcissist on that one.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
That's obvious.
The thing about them is they work as a dynamic too because Ed is the joke character, and then Double D is the straight man, and then Eddie is the exacerbator. He takes everything to the nth degree. So it's the lunatic who's there for comic relief, and then the guy who exacerbates problems mixed with the guy who tries to
retard demons free.
Yeah. It's plus a whole host of other characters that got really fleshed out over the life of that show, because that's how you write a good cartoon.
If they ever brought Ed and Eddie back, I don't think I'd watch it, because they already ruined Powerpuff Girls for me.
Yeah, they sure fucking did. You ever watch that Hot Diggity Demon thing about Powerpuff Girls?
Nope.
It is really, really fucking true. Like, everything he says about it is incredibly true. He's also very recently put out a really good, like a 45-minute fucking video on. Have you looked at Netflix documentaries recently?
No.
So Netflix, I think it was last year, got a documentary by what's his name? Something Tom Bowley. I don't remember his name. But he's an Indian comedian. I don't think he's that funny. But he did an entire fucking documentary about why Apu from The Simpsons is racist.
We fought with honor.
And
Wait, is the Indian guy you talking about? Is he on
Extraction is
Parks and
ready.
Recreation?
So you can handle
yes, I
more
think he
of
is.
it.
I never found him funny. Never.
No, he's not funny. He's really not. So,
Hey, level 28. Nice.
so basically, to be fucking relevant, he made a documentary about why Apu's racist, and he got a bunch of other Indian actors who shared his opinion to say the same thing, basically. And it was very disappointing to see some of them on there, like specifically the guy who plays Kumar, and there was a couple of other Indian comedians that I like a lot who were on there. That it was just like it was an echo chamber of Apu is racist, and then so fucking Max G has on his YouTube channel has this 45-minute video about talking about why he thinks that's a ridiculous statement, and it's like because Apu is a nearly universally loved character in The Simpsons. Like he's the most well fleshed out, interesting, and
Relatable character.
a relatable and universally liked character, and treated the best. Like you were talking about a dude who's a fucking a self-made entrepreneur doctor who drives a fancy car and might fuck your wife. Like that. Like he couldn't be a more flattering depiction in anything. And basically it comes like he very early on says that Kondabolu talks about that Apu is a racist stereotype because of like how he acts and his voice and stuff, and it's like, but nobody else is like
Why did we back out?
devolving. Do what?
Why did we back out?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I need to switch weapons anyway because
Okay.
That's not why, but that's a symptom.
Then switch your weapon.
Basically, he was. It was. Nobody was saying saying that fucking. Nobody was devolving Apu to just being a funny voice that makes fun of Indian people, but except for Kondabolu. Which seems like he's being the one that's being racist, and not everyone else. And
I mean, if that's the case, then they could go along the lines of saying, Bantu from, as a matter of fact, yeah, Bantu from fucking Deadpool. They could say he's fucking a stereotypical racial, character, because not all Indians drive cabs.
Yeah. And talk about arranged marriages and stuff.
Exactly. They didn't touch on that, but yet they want to touch on fucking Apu.
No. Here's the best bit. The way that Kondabolu describes Apu in The Simpsons is meek and servile.
No. There's nothing meek. Exactly. There's nothing meek about
You know
Apu.
who's meek and servile? The guy you just talked about.
I know.
It's literally like he'd never seen an actual episode of The Simpsons, and he claims to be a Simpsons fan, and that would be like, well, then you would have seen all those episodes about Apu where he's depicted incredibly lovingly, like that episode Much Apu About Nothing, where he's had the plight of he's going to get fucking deported from the country, and he has to rally the help of everyone in Springfield.
And everyone had his back.
Yeah, It's fucking ridiculous. Like it's actually asinine that he could even begin to try to justify it.
Because it's a dude that basically wants to talk about nothing to make himself relevant. Of course,
that's exactly what it is.
Of course, that's a good majority of fucking politics.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Oh man. But yeah, it's for Max G having like a bad sense of humor and saying a bunch of like fucked up shit and being mildly racist, he makes a lot of good points in that video. He actually has a whole tirade in there about he's Italian and from a very Italian town originally, and how the most widely well known depiction of an Italian in all of everything is Mario, an Italian who's played by a Frenchman, and that in Mario 64 dreams about fucking pasta and shit, and it's like there's no Italian guy anywhere that actually dreams about pasta.
Yeah, exactly. That's racist.
That's a racist caricature. And he's like, but you know what? I don't want Mario to be different. I liked Mario. I like that he's a depiction of Italian people, because you know what? Mario's awesome. And it's just like, yeah. And there was also a big bit about fucking if Apu is racist in The Simpsons, then what the fuck are all of the other characters in The Simpsons, like Homer and Marge and Bart and Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel? What are they if not horrendous depictions of fucking white people in America? And no one talks shit about them. Oh
God.
It's like, man, it's almost like Homer is everything wrong with American culture because he's a fucking cartoon.
God.
But yeah, I highly recommend watching that video. And people on the internet are incredibly divisive about it, because one half of people is like, that was a very good video and well informed, and he makes very good points and all this. And then the other half of people are like, look at all, what's this fucking racist gonna say this time?
Not to change the subject, but are we going to continue playing?
I'm ready.
Been waiting for that.
Right in my ear, thanks.
Sorry.
Alright, and I'm switching to broadcast from YouTube to Twitch.